I feel like it's just kind of how I live my life. I'm not perfect in it, right? But it's definitely how I live my life. That I always joke like we don't carry our heads in our arm, right? Like the headless horseman. We have our heads attached to our body, and we have to help all of it at the same time. I think that's also how I got through what I got through.
We're in studio. We have an amazing guest with us today. Someone that I've gotten to know over the last couple of years. And Stephanie Hanneken is going to join us on the podcast, share her story. But it's funny getting to know you more over the last couple of years. You and Phil have some overlaps. And so I'm really excited about that, about hometown stuff.
Yeah.
But just for the listeners, a quick introduction. Stephanie is a licensed therapist, also personal trainer. And did I see exercise correction?
Corrective exercise. That was just one of my really cool certifications.
Well, she's like super buff and can beat us both in an arm wrestle. But
it's important.
You are an incredible person, and we have run this podcast for almost 3 years now, and you're a perfect guest for this. It's all about sharing ideas and stories and frameworks and what does success mean for the listeners. And as people define it, it's cool to have cool people on. So appreciate you jumping on, Steph.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited. Very excited.
All right. So St. Louis, Phil's from St. Louis. You're from St. Louis. Take us back. Midwest roots. You moved to Arizona not super long ago.
Nope, about 6 years now.
Yeah. So take us back to St. Louis. What was life like? How was growing up?
Oh, man. Growing up was good. St. Louis is cool. It's a great place to raise kids. It's a great place to grow up. I've always said that. Sports are fun. There's lots to do that's free. That's something that I've noticed a difference in Phoenix. There's you have to pay for the zoo here. You have to pay for museums, things like that. You could basically go and do anything you wanted to on the weekends. It was fun. I grew up in a suburb similar to Scottsdale, not as affluent, but similar to it in terms of the looks and the jobs and things like that. And yeah, I have 2 brothers. I'm in the middle, which makes a lot of sense if you know me.
Children.
Yeah, middle children rock.
Yeah,
we rock. Right. And then in between 2 boys, it makes a difference for sure. So I learned to play outside and get bit by every bug known to man, get as mutty as I could, play as many sports outside as I could, and
awesome.
Rip Barbie's heads off and do lots of surgeries on Barbie's legs.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
That's how I played with Barbies. So it was fun. It was, I think we, grew up in the 90s. And so it was, go outside and play until you're sweaty and you need some food, come inside and then go back out and, play the night games. So it was a blast. I really enjoyed it. Schools are great out there. Sports were great. Volleyball, basketball, softball, those were my sports.
Did you play college?
I went to college for volleyball. Yeah. So, and then all the other sports, I dabbled in a lot of them. My feet don't do what I want them to, so soccer was always a no-go. I would just hide on defense and wait for the ball to come to me and kick it away. I could do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really it. I mean, everything was good growing up in terms of family. Family life was great, with its own issues like we all have. But St. Louis is cool. It's somewhere I definitely needed to get away from and experience something new. So.
Well, before we started recording, you and Phil were talking about there's a question when you hear that someone's from St. Louis.
Yes.
You guys talk about that.
She's a rich girl.
Yeah, and he's a poor boy. Yeah, I know.
So how do you identify that? What does that mean?
I don't know. It's a St. Louis thing. It's like
she married someone from the sticks. So
yeah.
You're sizing people up, and everyone does the original judgment from the high school. It's just like the question.
It is this question. You literally, if you meet somebody from St. Louis and you're not there, the question automatically is, what high school did you go to? What high school did you go to?
And then you start trying to connect the dots. Did you play sports against them?
Yeah, that, and also was your family rich? Was your family poor? I can tell, you look like that. It's just weird. It's the socioeconomic thing.
But you totally redeemed yourself on bringing up Sullivan.
Thank you.
Connected on that.
Thank you. We did. Yeah, but we were the rich kids that went to Sullivan to hang out. We weren't the ones that lived there. I'm just kidding.
We were kind of the poor kids that wanted to see something poor.
The poorer.
No, those are some of the best memories and a great way to camp. But you mentioned the great education in St. Louis and did some LinkedIn stalking, as you know. And you're an MIZ
ZOU.
Tiger.
That's right.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Talk about your kind of path. But you started at Murray State, is that right?
Started at Murray State University.
Tell us about your education path and how that journey went.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it was all over the place. So I grew up singing. I was in a professional children's choir my whole life and playing piano and very musical. Loved music. So I actually went to college on a music scholarship, and then I went for volleyball as well. And so my first major that I went with was music, classical music. And I got there and it was 17 hours, which, that's a normal caseload or normal class load, but 11 classes. So there were a bunch of 1-hour courses And really it started to just kind of peel apart my passion. It was almost like telling an artist what exactly they needed to paint and what they needed to use to paint. So it got very technical very fast. And it just kind of burned me out from the enjoyment of it. So I just wanted to sing instead. Stayed in the choirs there, jazz choirs, a cappella, all kinds of things, and was still able to then go and do other things. So I then went into broadcast journalism. So I wanted to be a sports broadcaster. That was a dream of mine, and loved baseball growing up. Got to do an internship with the Cardinals, which was really cool.
That's your first religion in St. Louis.
Basically, yeah, basically my first religion.
You don't really have a choice but to watch sports.
No, not at all. Yeah, it's sports then God, for sure. So then I did that, and then I ended up in organizational communications. So I was a double major. Organizational communications is different than communications. It's not just advertising and marketing and things like that. It's really learning about people. People in all walks of life, business, communications, multicultural communications. And I kind of got pulled into that major by a couple of people who just saw me doing speaking things, and they were like, hey, you would love this. The major itself was basically public speaking. So it was very, very fun. So I kind of hopped all around. And I was at Murray State for 2.5 years. I ended up, that's kind of a story of like my trauma stuff that I went through, but got injured it was my last club volleyball tournament before I went and signed, or after I had signed for college, and I blew out my ankle. And it was like a 14-week injury. I'd had ankle injuries before that, but my doctor was like, if you had broken it, it would have been better.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. And I had a choice. I was either going to be redshirted, or I could basically go to school there still and enjoy myself and play intramurals and do all those sorts of things. So that's why I always say I went to college for volleyball, but I did not actually play. If I had a regret in life, that would be my regret. But I tried to
finish playing.
That I didn't. Yeah. That I didn't play.
Did you think like life was over at that point?
For sure.
You're like, right? You're young. Something like that happens. You're like, well, what am I going to do now? And it's like, there's nothing more for me.
Literally.
And it happens all the time.
Absolutely.
And then, so now you wish you would have kept going. It's tough though, right? I
mean, what
are you going to do? You're 19 years old.
Exactly. Yeah. I didn't have hindsight. I didn't have any like perspective, right? I knew I loved the sport. I worked my ass off for it. And then I just kind of feel like I abandoned myself with it, but I also got to do a lot of really cool other sports.
Yeah.
Now, did the singing continue at the time? The commonalities are blowing me away, by the way. It's a little weird.
Really? With you?
Yeah, there's just some overlap. But did you continue to sing?
I did.
Okay.
I did. And actually it was nice. They kept me on scholarship, which was super, super nice. So I got to do that. I was pretty spoiled with that. So I sang in the choirs through Murray State, and then also through Mizzou. When I went to Mizzou, I tried out for the choirs. Music majors are very snobby, so they did not like that I was able to come in and basically try out and walk onto the choir, which I was like, well.
I mean, it's kind of like, you don't see that where there's an athlete who also sings really well. Like it's usually one or the other.
High School Musical, bud.
I mean,
yeah.
I know that was your favorite show in college, but
you know
really
why?
don't. I mean, you kind of dedicate like to one main thing, so you're multifaceted. It's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Do you? So I have never done anything that bad to my ankle, but I've sprained both my ankles like 5 times playing hoops growing up.
For sure.
Each ankle like softball size, never 14 weeks, but
Rough.
out a couple of weeks. Every time you see it now on sports, like you're watching a game and they do the replay in slow-mo of an ankle, like do you cringe? Can you even watch it?
I cannot
watch it.
Can't watch it.
You feel the pain.
Yeah. I know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So let's talk Columbia to Lindenwood. And you kind of hinted at Murray State and maybe some things that happened there that drove your career path. Can you connect those dots for us?
Yeah, very much so. So Columbia to Lindenwood was my master's, and that also feeds into how I got into counseling in the first place, and kind of my story. So very much I got into counseling from my learned experiences and things that I experienced. So in high school, I was very conservative. I am very Christian, but I was very conservative, and I just really wanted to protect my virginity. I wanted to protect who I was. And I didn't like to go out and party and things like that, but, this is personal, but it's fine. I'm fine being personal, but I developed early. So a lot of guys were like kind of all about that. And there would be bets against me. Like, oh, I bet I can get her to be the one, to do this and whatever. Which was it was almost in and of itself traumatizing for me, because I was trying so hard to push against that, and it made sex and things like that really gross to me. And so then I met this guy, right? And I'm, a 16-year-old girl with dad issues and things like that who doesn't have those. And this guy, kind of love bombed me. I thought that he was the person for me, and He made me feel, seen and protected, and then ended up being, not listening to my boundaries. And it was consensual at first and things like that. But I've since have processed that I, again, kind of abandoned myself a little bit with my own values and morals and things like that. So anyways, the trauma story behind that is basically he was very controlling psychologically, verbally, would threaten to kill himself if I would leave him. And then when we got to college, I stupidly went with my, boyfriend from high school to college. He also plays into why I didn't play volleyball. He did not want me to be gone on the weekends. So then when I hurt myself, it was like, oh, well, good. That'll make him happy, And little 16-year-old me thought that was the best thing to do, the safest thing to do to, keep riffs out of it. So we get to college. He basically gets me behind closed doors, essentially, right? And the abuse just ramps up. It was very controlling. It was very, like I said, verbal. It was never physical, but it definitely would have gotten there had I not been able to get out. And it was sexual. There were several times that he did rape me, that it got to a point where I just didn't really even know what was right and what was wrong anymore in my own moral system. And times that I did say no, that he pursued and kept going, and I would just dissociate and kind of leave my body and let it happen. When you fight, it hurts worse. So you just kind of give up and just become like a noodle. Did not realize these things were happening though, until my body fell apart. My body just quit on me. And it makes me emotional for that little girl. Cause I just didn't know that I could have a voice. I didn't know that. I thought, well, this is my boyfriend. I'm supposed to do this with him. I'm supposed to be this way with him. And then he knew that I was Christian. He knew I was very much against pornography and things like that. And he would use porn to abuse me. So he would make me watch it or show it to me and tell me that I needed to be like that or look like that. And it was impossibilities. It was, I have a complex of short 5'2" blondes. That was the comparisons. It's I'm 5'8" brunette. There's no way I could ever, And again, as a teenage girl, it's it messes with you. I mean, it fucks with you.
Your first love.
My first love. My first introduction to anything physical, to any intimacy.
You just thought that that's how it was supposed to be and was. And
totally.
When this was going, did you have an opportunity to seek other people going through it? I mean, you're kind of just trapped behind closed door. You didn't even think about going to ask for help or just is this normal or just seeking guidance or anything like that, right?
I really didn't. And this is, I tell this as
horrible.
It was awful. And I tell this as a cautionary tale, and I'm very open with my clients about it because they see me as who I am, a very strong, outspoken woman. So the fact that I can go through something like this, that just shows how pervasive this type of abuse is. I was actually the president of the sexual assault and advocacy team at the college.
At the time?
At the time. And he was the vice president.
Whoa.
My job was to go speak to male athlete teams to teach consent, to teach them what consent looked like and basically how, if a girl says no, this is what you do. And I was so far into the abuse at that time, I had no clue. I had no clue what was happening to me. And I think the excuse was, well, that was my boyfriend.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so messed up.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Very sorry you went through that.
It's okay.
But obviously you're very confident and very strong now.
Yeah.
So talk us through the period of you're not with him.
No.
Broke up, obviously that ended.
Yes.
How did you get the strength or find the strength to get out of that and move on from that? And then eventually get into your practice that you're now, because you launched your business in 2007.
2014.
2014. Sorry.
You're good.
2014.
You're good.
Yeah. But yeah, so talk us through that period because you're in college. This is 2007-ish when this is going on.
2007 was when I transferred.
So within those 7 years, then you became a business owner, entrepreneur. So you had to have the strength to be able to do that too. So what were those 7 years like?
Yeah. So my body fell apart, right? So I basically went into deep PTSD, started having anxiety attacks for hours a day. The only thing that would calm me down is just sitting in my shower. No clue what was happening. Never had a psychology course at that time. No one talked about it. There was no social media. I didn't have any kind of ways to look up what the heck was happening to me. And basically I had to go home. I had to leave and go home for a couple weeks, kind of gather myself. And when I was there, I just spent a lot of time praying, and it was I got the distance, right? So then my brain started coming back down to earth, and my body resolved itself. And basically I was like, oh, it's him. He's the issue. And still, even at that time, I didn't realize that the rape had been happening.
Yeah.
I just knew he was abusive. And so I got out. that way. So I like to say that God oftentimes in my life Noah's arcs me. This is a phrase that I use where basically I'm so stubborn and so competitive that he's like, I know you're not going to get yourself away from these things that are bad for you. So I'm going to remove
make
you.
This happen.
Yeah. I'm going to go put you on a rock and I'm going to like load all your shit into an ark and I'm going to like flood everything. And like, you're going to have to rebuild and restart. And at first I want to fight it, but now it's become kind of a pattern that I'm like, oh, dang, he's doing it again. Okay. Thank you. So he did that. I ended up transferring to Mizzou. Didn't want to take any time off. I just wanted to finish. And my parents were like, okay. You know, I was on very heavy medication at the time. I gained 40 pounds on the medication. So that was a, blow to my athlete self. And when I was in counseling, my counselor was like, you should be a counselor. And I was like, that's funny. That's really cute. And she's like, no, seriously. And I was like, okay, I don't even know what it is, right? Like, I don't know how to do it. So after I graduated from Mizzou, I went and took a couple courses at a community college for psychology just to see if it even interested me. And I fell in love. And not only did I fall in love, but it was like right then and there, I knew that why I had gone through the things I had gone through was to help other people. Like, it was obvious to me. And it wasn't like I'm some hero. It was like people, all of us go through pain and most of us don't get to know the why. Mm-hmm. And we just swim around in the world and we're like, why did this happen to me? And I get to know my why. And that's so freaking cool.
It's amazing.
It's so freaking cool. And he really has just blessed my career. He floods me with people and he keeps me steady and he keeps me healthy. I don't carry things with me, from clients and things like that. And it's just every single morning I wake up, I'm like, oh damn, like it's just like the coolest.
There's really something about that. If you have a passion or want to help people, or you don't even realize that you can help people because you're going through that.
Yeah.
You are the most qualified to help people because you went through that.
Right.
Same with like addiction, anything. Like you see the best counselors or the best, helping people get out of those addictions.
Exactly.
They were addicts themselves, right? They've seen it, they've been through it, they're walking through those journeys, and then you're out there saying, hey, this is what I've seen, this is what I've done, and there is light. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and obviously you lean in on your faith through that too.
Yes.
You need that hope, right? You just need whatever that is. It could be anything, but
something beyond yourself.
There is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, no, really, it's true. It's something that's bigger than you. If you're depending on people, like, oh, good luck. You're gonna be really disappointed in life. If you're depending on yourself, like, well, you're limited. You're not objective. So something that's bigger than you is everybody's got to find it. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Yes, thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
And looking at your practice, I loved what I saw about you evaluating things from the holistic approach, mind, body, and spirit, which I talk a lot about on the podcast, but Steven does
the
as
tree
well.
hugger.
Hey.
No, the holistic approach
true.
and how the body keeps the score.
Yes.
One of my favorite books.
Great book.
As with what you went through and making that transition, as you were building your practice, was that way out the gate, or did you kind of piece it together after kind of starting to build the practice out?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say it was out the gate. Luckily I had the athletic background and I had the love for working out because the adrenaline, when I would have these panic attacks, it was like the competitor in me was like, you know what? Like, fuck this. I'm done with my head controlling me. I'm going to control this. I'm going to make my heart race for a reason. So I would go and I would exercise and I'm like, okay, cool. Like now I know why my heart's racing. And it was more empowering that way. Some people, they don't like that. They want to like sit down and they need to rest. I'm not good at sitting down. I'm not good at the quiet, the yin. That doesn't calm me down. And so, yes, very much like we have to keep our bodies healthy with what we're feeding it and how we're moving and make sure that we're in our bodies, we're attached to our bodies and we're always grounded and feeling them so that when then we have to work on psychological or emotional things, we can, I don't know, be in touch with our nervous system, I guess. So right out the gate, that's...
Yeah.
I love the headless horseman.
Yeah, throwback.
Because you're being interviewed by Ichabod Crane.
Oh, for sure. That is. You do look like him.
I have been called Ichabod Crane before.
That's
Shout
perfect.
out Tyler Smith.
That is perfect. I like
Too
that a
good,
lot.
Too good.
Do you have a morning routine to get yourself ready for the day?
If my husband, he's going to watch this, but he always laughs at me because he and I are complete opposites. So he's always like, she's teaching breath work, but she doesn't do breath work. Well, like, yeah, I don't, but like, it's just not my thing. My morning routine is working out. Like it just is. He gets up, he gets his coffee. I don't like coffee. He goes and he sits in his closet, basically, which is his relaxation space, for an hour, and he reads, and then he's ready. I'm up and I'm like talking like this the second I get up, and then I'm at the gym. So right from the gate, I decided when I started my business that I would not start seeing clients before 11. That was my boundary for myself. And I would say to my clients, like, if I don't go and take care of myself, I'm not going to be good for you. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I go to the gym, I lift, I do cardio, and then I'm also social at the gym. Like I just am. It's my kind of my touch-in, my social time, if you will. So that's my morning routine. And then I get to go home and cook breakfast and hang out with my cats. Yes, I have cats. I have two. They're
cat
awesome.
Girl. Okay.
Cat girl, cat lady.
Yeah.
And now that my husband's around, I get to have breakfast with my husband every day.
So let's talk about your husband now.
Yeah.
Obviously he's not here. This is your show, but
we'll
give him a little shout out.
Love this.
You came from a very terrible relationship and probably took a long time to open up and be ready for a new one. Mm-hmm. But he's from the same area, St. Louis. Did you guys meet in St. Louis before?
St. Louis, he's not.
He's not.
Oh, sorry.
He's from the
I think
state.
all of Missouri is St. Louis. Like, what else?
I already like this. I've never met him. I already like this guy based on where he's from. But
he's a cool dude.
He's a really cool dude.
Yeah.
Cody's awesome. But how did that happen? Like, how did you guys meet? And were you closed off in the beginning, or were you open to that relationship right away? Also
a good question. So my relationship with the abuser ended when I was 20. So I was able to get out when I was 20. And then from there, I was single for 3 years, healing and all the things. And I was actually married previously. So I met another person at 25. We got married at 20. No, wait, I'm sorry. I met him at 23. We got married at 25. We were divorced in a year and a half. He was, again, not the greatest, but nothing like my first one. And I think that's where my brain was like, well, he's not going to rape me.
He's
but
the
it's
opposite,
like, but it still wasn't the best thing. And actually I kind of knew, honestly, on my wedding day, like, what am I doing? Like, but it was, I'm a 25-year-old girl. This is what I'm supposed to do.
That's what you're supposed to do. Society tells us.
100%. 100%. Here I am going with society, right? So we get divorced at whatever, 28, I guess. And then I'm single for 7 years. And it wasn't by choice. Like, no, I gotta be 7 years. It just happened to be that way. Took a couple years to heal because it was very abrupt how it ended and traumatic in that way. He just kind of walked out and had been cheating. But the 7 years that I spent was the most important time of my life. I urge my clients to like be single, take time. Guys especially, it's harder for men, it seems, sometimes to be alone. So use that time to heal. Thought I was great. Thought I was so healed. I was so ready. And then meet, Cody, and all of a sudden, like, trauma stuff just starts to come back up, as it would. So I wasn't guarded at the time. I really wasn't. I felt open. I felt confident. And I knew right away he was my guy. Like, I knew right away. I had spent so much time, getting to know myself and, kind of sort of dating. No boyfriends in that time. Just kind of sort of like learning to say goodbye was my lesson. So we meet remote. We met on Instagram, which makes me sound really cool. But he slid into my DMs. I didn't slide into his. So yeah,
what was the line? Do you remember what caught your eye?
What did he say? So I think he goes, you come with a warning. He goes, did you know that you come with a warning? And I was like, I'm really proud of my warning. Because at the time I was being massively like shadow banned and canceled or whatever. This was 2021, heart of COVID. I'm mouthy and I'm talking out and, speaking truth and things. And, the algorithms don't like that. So they would put me in, Instagram jail. Yeah. So that was his line, was like, was he like, yeah, hey, what kind of shit are you posting? And I was like, just a lot of truth. Sit back and enjoy their show, basically. And then from there, we just didn't shut up.
That's funny. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was amazing. And then I always go back and like, well, it was God. Like, zero reason I would have ever met Cody. And he was living 5 minutes from where I had moved from a year and a half before that.
You didn't know each other. Yeah.
None. Yeah. But we had one person in common. And that's who I looked at Instagram and I was like, oh, he knows my friend Tyler. My friend Tyler, we were friends for 12 years. I was a trainer with him at the gym. And he was Cody's roommate in college. So for 12 years, they were friends. For 12 years, we were friends. But we were never in the same group together at all. Wild. Really crazy.
And you never crossed paths.
We did, but we didn't know it.
Yeah.
So he was in Cody's first wedding. He was also married. He was in my first wedding, and then Cody was in his wedding, and I was there. And like, he even asked me, Cody did, like, were you wearing like a blue dress? And I was like, fuck if I know. It was 12 years ago, right? Like,
oh, you knew.
I didn't know. I legit didn't know. So I asked our friend's wife, and I was like, hey, like, do you have any pictures from the wedding? And sure as shit, I'm
there he is.
sitting there. And I was like, also, like, if you ever remember another girl's dress, I will fucking kill you.
I love it.
It was cute for me, but don't do it again.
That's funny.
So that's, yeah. So I was closed off. But more so like closed off in the sense that, yes, sometimes my nervous system would like shut down if it got triggered, but open to the fact of like knowing that this person was safe and knowing that my body would have told me, like you said, the body keeps the score. My body would have told me if he wasn't right for me. It would have rejected him.
You would have felt something immediately.
100%. And I had learned to listen to it. So
is Cody real country? Is he real Sullivan?
He's not at all.
Really?
Not at all. No, he is like Malibu Barbie. Like he is the most handsome.
So we're in a networking group together. We're in BNI,
Yeah.
and she's the president of our chapter this year, and I'm the secretary treasurer. So leadership sits in the same area. Well, Cody sits like 5 seats down from us, and she's right here. Like we're right here.
Within
and Cody's
earshot.
like, but Cody can't hear what she's saying. And under her breath, every time this dude stands up, she's like, "Oh God," and she's just sighing, and I'm like, "What?" And she's just like,
"Oh man, poor
he's
Cody."
so dreamy. And so now I picked
so
up on it,
bad.
and I'm like, and then Cody will stand up, and I'll just be like,
Yeah.
you know,
now
like
he
whistle,
exit
and now
on.
I get on.
He
and
exit on.
It is so funny. But I had to tell Cody, and
Oh, yeah.
Cody will laugh, and I'm like, dude, she's talking about you again. She's
All the
talking. I was like,
time.
I'm gonna have to move. I'm gonna have to move.
It's so bad.
It's really cute though. You guys have such love for each other, and I know
Yeah.
Cody's got his own story. You guys both came from some tough situations, and
sure.
You're an amazing couple. So
Well,
thank you. For
you.
sharing that. Yeah.
We've worked really hard, so that's good. Yeah, thank you.
And before we jumped on, we realized that Cody is from Sullivan, Missouri.
He is.
Which is where we spent a ton of time in the summers.
Yep.
Did my last spring break out there, out in the woods, camping.
Yep.
Which is just such a
It's
small
crazy.
world. It's one of my favorite places in Missouri, actually.
It's beautiful.
It really
Missouri's
is,
really, really beautiful, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've ever been to like, I don't know, Carolinas or like, you know, Kentucky, West Virginia, like those rolling hills, Missouri looks like that. You know, lush green grass and things. So yeah, that's where he's from, the meth capital. He's very proud. He did not indulge. He has all of his
You guys have a
teeth.
lot of labels out there.
We do. We're very label heavy.
Everyone in Missouri tries to claim that.
Yeah.
Every Jefferson County.
Like it's
tries
like
to
a badge.
It's
To
honestly.
walk around with honor.
I'm
You're
I'm from
there?
St. Louis, the murder capital.
I made it out.
So yeah, we made it out.
Yeah.
We're not hood anymore.
Oh, that's
Speaking
funny.
of meth,
Speaking of,
it's speaking,
I like
it
this.
does. Speaking of treatment, I saw a lot just looking through your practice that EMDR came up quite a bit.
yep.
Know a little bit about it, but I'd love to hear, was that a big part of your process or just something that let's hear about it.
Oh yeah. Oh, it saved my life. I mean, it completely saved my life.
And I guess give an overview for the listeners that may not be familiar.
Oh man, I should have practiced my elevator speech for EMDR. It's so hard to explain quickly.
Yeah.
It is kind of truly one of those things you just need to try. My biggest thing is people have a little bit of fear of being out of control, and you are not hypnotized. So that's the biggest thing to know. You're fully conscious. You're not hypnotized. You're 100% in control. EMDR itself, it stands for eye movement, desensitization, and reprocessing. So the eye movement part of it speaks to the electricity in our body and the frequencies within our body, which we all have, right? When we go through trauma or anything that our body's not expecting is labeled as trauma, right? Then our brain starts to get stuck kind of in the emotional centers. And so if you were to do a brain scan and look at your brain, you would have basically a lot of white matter in the amygdala area, the midbrain part of your brain, which is the animal center, the reptilian center. Exactly. And it would be basically signaling, hey, this is completely overactive. We're not using, our frontal cortex, which is our area where we can come out and have logical, rational thought, think ourselves down from that ladder, and calm ourselves down. So EMDR helps us go back into the trauma very strategically. We go into the trauma, we identify basically the root, the target, and then we decide what the negative beliefs are while we're thinking of that trauma. And then as the clinicians, we facilitate the electricity back and forth in your brain using tappers in your hands. You can use, you can have people follow your fingers, or you can have them tap your legs, or there's light bars even. I find it most helpful if your eyes are closed. But that shifts the electricity back in that memory and gets you unstuck from that emotional center. It helps the logical brain get online again. And so then now we're talking as if we're kind of just observing, like the Muppets Christmas Carol. I always think about that when he goes back, right? And he travels and he's just observing himself in these different times of his life. That's exactly what it feels like. And you go back in and you reprocess and you desensitize yourself from it. And basically what it feels like is it's a major trigger reduction. So when you've had triggers in the present that you don't know really where they're connected to or why you're having them, maybe this thing happened for me like 20 years ago, but yet my body will still remember, right? We can go back in there, identify that, desensitize our body from it. And then we have maybe a similar experience in the present where we're triggered again and it just doesn't light up anymore. It's there, it happened. We're not brainwashing you out of it. It's just your body knows how to relax and get back to its normal state a lot easier.
Does it have anything to do with as you're like walking?
Yeah.
You look left to right, you're kind of looking at your peripheries to see what's moving and going to your past. Does it have anything to do with that, or am I making that up?
No, that's a really cool analysis, actually. So the person who developed EMDR, that's exactly how she developed it. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. She discovered it when she was on a walk in the woods, and she had some sort of a trauma resurgence happen. And she realized that like she felt better by the end of the walk because she was thinking about it, but she was engaging in bilateral simulation.
That's crazy. Okay, so I didn't know that's where it came. So my son, I've talked to you about this too before. My son's 13, but when he was, really about 7, 8, 9, like he high anxiety going to school, and he was just nervous about being nervous or nervous about having a panic attack, even though he wasn't actually having one. He was just nervous about it, and so he'd go through these things. But we got him hooked up with a therapist at like 9 years old.
Good.
And he's now incredible, like thriving, club sport, baseball athlete, all this stuff. He's doing amazing.
Yeah.
But he went through a lot of that. And the therapist would say, well, let's imagine you walking through the woods. And I never knew where I thought it was just between them, but now it makes sense because he did EMDR too.
Good.
And that was, so I want to ask, when I finish the story, like how you get people to realize what that trigger, because we didn't know, like this kid has an amazing childhood. Like we try to be really good parents. Like we're always there for him and all this stuff. Like, why is he having all of this anxiety? Like, where's this coming from?
Right.
And she finally asked, Jack, when you get nervous, like, who are you trying to protect? Like, how old are you when you're like, because it's not right now. And he's like, well, I'm 7-year-old Jack. And he was able to articulate this. Like, I'm trying to help 7-year-old Jack. And we're like, well, 7, what was that? 7 years old. It was 2020. COVID hit.
Absolutely.
Imagine being a second grader, going to school, wearing a mask, thinking the whole world's going to end, because that's everything that's on the news. That's what's going on in the world. And you think that now I'm going to get this virus that no one knows about. And you're a 7-year-old. You don't have an adult brain to kind of know what's probably real and what's not. But a lot of people were scared at that time too.
Absolutely.
And so with a premature, not fully developed brain, that was him. He was scared of that, of like what could happen. And she was able to tap into that. And once we found who he was trying to save, EMDR, all that stuff helped. And now it's like, it took some years and some help, but I did the forest story is what I was like, that's where that came from. I didn't realize it was developed from the inventor of EMDR, or however that worked.
That's so
amazing.
But
that stuff truly works. Like, I didn't know anything about this until we needed to get Jack some help. And well, so how do you question like that? Like, how do you get to the root if they're not going to openly tell you right away? Like, or usually with adults, do they tell you like, hey, this is the traumatic experience? But how do you do it with kids who may not know where it's coming from? Yeah,
well, that's a great question. First off, I'm so happy that you guys got him in help so early. That's really
my
important.
wife. I mean, I would have been like, I'll grow out of it. You know, like that's kind of the mentality we all grew up with, right? Like, he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Rub some dirt on it.
She was like, no, this is something different. And she's love her to death because she saved him, I think.
I love that. Plus you went along with it and you let him, you let him get help for that. I think I just think everybody should honestly explore counseling. It doesn't have to be EMDR, but explore counseling at some point in their life. Just don't hesitate. Don't, pass go and collect $200. Just go. So that's incredible that he had that kind of insight. That sounds pretty divine to me, actually, for him to be able to know, like, this is my younger
7-year-old Jack.
Yeah. Like, what? You're like...
And he was like 10. He was like 11 years old when we found this out. It's like 2 years ago.
Very emotionally intelligent. That's incredible. So for kids, a lot of times, so I see 12 and up. I don't see a lot of littles, but you can actually do EMDR there's even science that you can do with babies. I'm not, like, that's not me. I can't do that. I don't know how that's even administered, but there's research that supports it. But with, I would say, my teenagers and even my, my people that are around our age and older, I always tell people you do not need to know all of your traumas, and we don't need to go through every single one of them either. So pretty much how the process goes is we find what is something that maybe led them to therapy that's traumatic. And sometimes people come to therapy, they're like, I'm having trouble concentrating. And it's like, okay. And then you get to talk, and basically what you came in for is usually not what you end up being there for, right?
Yeah.
Stuff starts to unravel itself, and then trauma comes up, and you get into it, and you start with like, okay, I was attacked by a dog. Like, let's say somebody has I don't know. Yeah, difficulty concentrating. And then one of the questions I would ask is, was there ever a time that you remember that being, maybe something you were made fun of for? Or was this something that you struggle with in school? Do you have any memories around other times you had difficulty concentrating? And sometimes that'll elicit, kind of a thought about like, oh yeah, I used it, test taking anxiety was huge for me. Okay, well, let's go there. We start there. And then you ask what's called a float back. And so they're in the session for EMDR and you just say, hey, what is the deepest memory that your mind can come up with and find that has to do with this feeling of maybe I'm not good enough or whatever their negative belief is.
Deep as in the most profound or deep as like as far back?
That's a great question. Yeah. The root, right? As deep as you can get to the root of the cause. Because if the theory says that if, you can get the root kind of unraveled, right, then the branches can't grow anymore. So anything our brain will make record of everything. It's very smart, but it's very dumb at the same time, right? So it will just stash things in categories. So if you have a trauma of getting made fun of, then there goes the root, right? And then anything else in your life that your brain deems that's the category, it will connect it to that root, and then the root, and then the root, and then the root, and it just keeps branching off from there. But you have no idea that it came from this thing, right? But if you take the life out of that, nothing else really matters. And the other traumas that you've had subsequent to that don't matter. And the meaning of it falls off. And if the meaning of it falls off, your body relaxes, right? So again, getting to as deep or as far back as you can go is kind of the question that we'll ask people. And we just see if they can get there.
I just want to go down an ancestral, gene passing on rabbit hole so bad.
It's also a thing.
But for the round two, I think this might be a round two-part podcast. I want a question specifically for you that I'm super curious about in modern times is how you see attachment theory showing up in modern relationships that maybe people don't realize. I think as humans, we all get attached to things, especially life itself. Mm-hmm. But what are some of the ways you see it as blind spots in relationships?
Oh my gosh, this one smacked me in the face with my relationship. It's a massive thing. It's every single one of us has attachment wounds and attachment issues, even if we had the best childhood. Like we have the body and the attachment portion of development is 0 to 5 years old. So no matter what, you are the best dad in the world, and still your kids will probably be mad at something that you did later in life and be like, my dad wasn't there for me. And you're like, what? Yeah. I was totally there for you. What are you talking about, right? But you don't know what they're really needing psychologically at 5 years old. You're like, I'm feeding you, I'm dressing you, I'm taking you to sports, I'm loving you, you have a safe place. So attachment happens then, right? Our bodies decide, am I secure? Will my parents return? Does my body feel like I know that they're coming back? Or are there times where it feels insecure? And then we develop, either an anxious attachment style or more of an avoidant one. A lot of men develop an avoidant one, and a lot of women develop an anxious attachment. Anxious is more so, just this fear of abandonment, being left, being rejected. And it's how it plays out, like your question, it plays out in how we try to basically communicate with one another. So where I think it smacks people in the face, and I think honestly a reason that people get divorced way too quickly is because they don't realize that it's actually just attachment stuff that's getting in the way. And that is how we respond to our partner, how we feel about how our partner is, either bidding for attention or maybe rejecting us. It might not be it's not about us. It might be about them, but they're not aware of it.
You bring up such a good point about with the example, say Stephen to Jack, right, or Bill to Stephen. Something that hit me across the face with a different type of counselor or therapist that just rocked me was we're so quick to go at our parents on their flaws and kind of being victims about that. Mm-hmm. What I realized is we don't often think about the work that they did to clear out what was passed on to them from their parents. Absolutely. All the way back to your beginning of ancestors that fought in wars, famines, diseases, plagues. And when you start looking at it that way, it's like you can take on the responsibility of what do I have to clear out now to not pass on? Because as you said, we're going to pass it on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just love the way that you're laying that out for people so they can look both directions.
Absolutely. 100%. And I love that you say that because it's almost I might take me down a rabbit hole, so I won't go there, but I feel like it's an epidemic right now in this world. I really, truly do. I think there's a spiritual component to that. I think that Satan literally hates families. He hates it. He hates it. He hates it. He hates marriage. He doesn't want it. And I also, this might be a little, but I think the government hates families. and that the fact that families unify us. If we're united, then we can fight. We can fight back. We can stand up and we can say, hey, I don't like this and I don't want this, because we have these morals and we have this tribe that we, stay strong. And so I think that there's just a lot of campaigns against the family happening. And one of those that I see is kind of like TikTok rhetoric, is just a phrase I'll just say, where people are learning and feeling empowered that like, yeah, my mom and my dad, they sucked and they just weren't there for me. And the reason that I, put cocaine up my nose every day is because of my parents. It's like, no, that's you and your finger.
Yeah.
That's not your parents. Like, yes. Does it come from somewhere?
Bamboo banger right there. That's what we call
a bamboo banger.
A mic drop. Yeah.
I like
bamboo
it.
banger.
I like it.
Sorry. Keep
It's true, right? It's so true. And it's not that our parents and the way that we were brought up and perceived realities aren't real. They really are. And we need to take care of them, but we also have that responsibility.
But at some point, you have to take control of your own life.
Totally.
Like,
it's ownership, just the way you told your story. You
Totally.
took ownership about the situation that you were in, a portion of it, which really, it could be very easy not to do.
Yeah.
Kind of really hard to take ownership in your situation, but I really think that's the problem too, and feel it not only at the family level that we're being pulled away with most people both having to have careers in a family household. Technology is the obvious one, but also in communities and neighborhoods. It's just not like Missouri or small town Missouri, at least, where you literally want to walk over to your neighbor's door, knock on it, and ask for something.
Right.
Likely they're going to be home and will give you literally, pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon? Like cup of sugar, some butter.
That was St. Louis with our Cadillacs. That wasn't Sullivan.
Oh gosh.
With their horse and buggies. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah, we rode horses to
Man,
school.
you really poor over
Barefoot.
there.
Yeah, barefoot, uphill both ways.
Uphill both ways. No, I think you're so spot on there, and I like to think that there's becoming an awareness to it because the technology and everything's hitting us in the face too much. But I think you're onto something there.
Yeah, I think technology is I think it's turning around now, and I think it's turning around because we have so many voices on technology who are using the platforms in a way of like, hey, this was an issue in my generation, and like you said, I don't want it to continue. Like, who is going to stand up and break that cycle? Who is it going to be? In my husband's family, it's my husband. Like, alcoholics all throughout his family. My husband does not drink. That's not his life. He stepped away from those, that life and those temptations. He's starting fresh.
It's funny you mentioned that because I've seen both sides where like friends of mine, they come from an alcoholic family, even family members come from an alcoholic family, and then they go down that path. And then you have like Cody and like I've grown up with friends too. They came from an alcoholic family and they went the opposite direction.
Yes.
So you either are all in
Yeah.
to do the exact same thing, or you're all in to do the exact opposite. There's no like real middle ground.
And I think that's just, I agree with that. I think that's just also,
but that's the self-control and like
Yes.
taking control of your own life. Like I recognize that this is not good.
Correct.
And like if I want a long, prosperous, happy, healthy, focused life, like I need to move away from what I was raised with and just go in a different direction. And if you have to burn bridges and audit your relationships, you gotta just do that.
Yeah, and not be afraid of it, right? So in psychology, we call that your locus of control. Where is your locus of control? Is it external or is it internal, right? And that's a development thing. You have to, if you see that everything outside is what's controlling your behaviors, well, you're going to probably go down a really bad path because everything outside really sucks. Like it's hard. The world's hard. But if you internalize your locus of control and you say, hey, I'm developing this strength of mind. I'm developing this empowerment part of me that I believe in myself and I truly feel like I can make the right decisions, then you can make better choices. And it really is, are you going to be a victim or are you going to survive this and grow? And it's a lot easier said than done, but counseling helps with that. And it goes back to attachment. Do I feel like I can actually attach to something, an idea outside of myself or someone where I feel like I can grow from this? Or is it something like I have this avoidance and I can't face anything. It's too scary. It's too much. I'm used to not doing it and I've survived just fine this way. So I will stay over here. Everything is always like, there's this side, and then there's the truth.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're incredible.
Thanks.
You have an amazing business, Inspire Change Counseling.
Yes.
You have offices in St. Louis and you have offices here.
I didn't even know anybody went to counseling in Missouri.
There's a lot of people.
That was a joke.
Oh, I was going to say, there's a lot of need for it, for
I'm
sure.
joking.
But maybe not boys.
But we always wrap up every episode with one question
Yes.
that we want you to answer.
Okay.
What does success mean for you?
Whew, like, how would I define it?
Yeah. How do you define success? What does that look like?
Honestly, I'm really not very money motivated. I like money. I don't have a problem with money, but once I'm comfortable and I'm kind of financially free, I'm fine. And so I'm at that point. I've been at that point, so blessed with that for a long time now. So my idea of success is how many people can I impact? And I mean that. I don't mean that to be cheesy. My focus on the girls that I hire is I want to create business for them so I can pay them more, so I can give back to them more. And success for me would be that people aren't afraid to tell their stories, and they're not afraid to feel better and to be bold and dig deep in those things. If I can get that message out to people and people come to me and say, hey, like, I really tried to do this. I went to counseling or whatever method works for them, and I feel like I finally got those shadows and those demons out of me. That means that I was successful in my life. If I can take an ounce of what I went through and kind of push back into society and help society do what I didn't know I could, that's it.
Great answer. That's awesome.
Thanks.
This has been a blast.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think we are going to have a round 2.
Yeah, we've got to have a round 2.
Sounds
There's
good.
so much more we can get deeper
I got through
on.
like a third of my questions.
It always happens that way. No, thank you so much for hopping on.
Thanks for having me.
If there's anyone that's listening that needs some help or doesn't know that they need it, but they don't know where to look or anything, seek it out. Inspire Change Counseling here locally in Arizona, as well as St. Louis. Where can they find you if they want to get in touch?
Yeah, our website is inspirechangecounseling.org. You can find us there. If you just do a quick Google search, usually you'll find all of our therapists on Psychology Today. So Psychology Today, just in general, is a great resource for people. It is a fantastic website that you can filter search. If you want a man, if you want a woman, if you want somebody who's LGBTQ, certain insurances, all that, you can filter search.
I was actually going to ask you because I was looking through your therapist.
Yeah.
Any ideas of getting males on staff?
So it's funny. I kind of like make this joke. I'm like, all my girls, and then I sound like I'm running like a pimp show or something. But I'm like,
I
my
looked
girls.
at the website. I was like, hey, maybe
I know
in the
we're
market.
the dudes. I have nothing against it. I think it's just kind of like women. It's such a women saturated, environment, and honestly, men seem to want to come see a woman about emotional things.
I'm the opposite.
You're the opposite. Yeah.
That's probably because I have mommy issues. But
Well, that's a thing. That's a thing.
That could be.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
I'd
Looking
explore
through your
it for
site.
sure. Yeah.
Sweet.
It's nothing that's intentional.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, wherever you're listening to this podcast, definitely like, subscribe, follow. Check us out on YouTube. Instagram is @SuccessFlow Podcast. Thanks, Stephanie, for
Thank you
coming
guys so much for having me.
on. Appreciate it.